across the globe, Toastmaster par excellence, moderated panels of several governments of nations, facilitated trainings with top global brands, banks, including Microsoft and the likes, several radio stations he's been host of in their programs, too many to mention. He's a lecturer that teaches English at the National Open University of Nigeria in many of their centers. He's on the planning committee for the Global Entrepreneurship Week at the Lagos Business School. He's an author of several and many books that have won awards across the nations, featured on many TVs and newspaper publications and shows. Co-founded the VOP 90.3 FM in Lagos and also 96.1 FM in Abuja. He's the host of the Arise TV morning show, which is very popular with every one of us, host of the Rufai Speaks podcast, and has many, many, many awards, too numerous to mention. He's a global speaker, an entrepreneur, and a development expert. Realm of Glory, join me this morning as we welcome Mr. Rufai Oseni.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Realm of Glory, good morning. So, people say a lot of things about me, but I do not deserve the applause. But let me tell you who deserves it. The one who picked me up as a child that lost his mom before the age of 10 and made me who I am today despite the circumstances around my birth. The one who gave me a voice that you know today that is not mine, but gave me that voice to be able to create an impact in society. All the accolades does not belong to me, and it will be foolhardy of me to take it. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Lion in the tribe of Judah, the Lily of the Valley, the Rose of Sharon, the one who cannot be changed, the one who cannot be subsumed, the one who cannot be quenched, the one who cannot be stood up. Yorubas call him Agbanilagbaton. My Igbo call him Aguna Chemba. He's the real Odogu. It's my life every day. The only one I have, you know, people ask me, Rufai, do you have one Babalawo somewhere? I have Baba Agbanilagbaton. And I tell them I've never entered any Babalawo's house to go and leak anything, that the one who is my protection, I give all the glory to. So ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy, I want you to do something radical for him. Straight jump! Because he deserves all the glory. Come on! Do something wild for him. We don't know how great he is. Hey. Listen, if you think where you are is by your power, it's a reflection of your direct stupidity. Please, just yada, wave your hands to him. Wave your hands to him. I know no other body. I know no other person. It's the Lord of Lords I know. And that's why I give him all the glory. So during the elections, when they harass me, they don't know my defender is the King of Kings. You say I talk anyhow on TV. I can talk anyhow because I am that I am. It's at my back. He says I should say it. And I don't fear anybody. I only fear who sent me. Because my life is not even in my hands. So it's in the hands of the one that gives life. So if you think I'm going to fear you, get out! Please be seated. So people ask me, where do my courage comes from? My courage comes from he that breathed life into me. And I said that boldly because we have a society where people say their courage is with God, but they still go and lick something in the end and say, Baba, give me this to lick. And they call it Bendel Insurance. Yes. In fact, they give it a very funny name. They say, Igbagba Onikamasha Ajo. So they say fortification. So you tell them to put their shirt in public, all sorts of marks. That's not your protection. Our protection is in God. So it is not what you sprinkle in front of your business or your office that makes customers come. It is your good nature and your attitude backed up with God that will make the customers come. A lot of you, they've given you all sorts of things in dry gin and you put in the shop. It doesn't make anybody come. What makes people come? Good nature. 1, 2, backed up by the grace of God. I like the Yoruba Bible that says, the grace of God make it rich and added no sorrow. So please depend on the grace of God. I'm really excited to be in the house today. God bless you. And for me, it's a homecoming because this is the injunction God had given me many years ago. About 20 years when I started media, God said, Rufai, I'm sending you to as an apostle in the marketplace of media. So you are not the conventional journalist. And that's why I say I speak for national development because I have an assignment. I don't come on television to talk because I have to do work and pay my bills. No. I'm an apostle in the media space to be able to change the media space for Christ. And that's the cornerstone of my conviction. So for every time I cannot speak in tandem with what is the truth and reality and for the downtrodden, then I have not failed myself, I have failed God. And that's why we are different. Not everybody apostles in the media space. For me, media is not my career. It's a ministry. There's a difference. That's why when on radio in Lagos, you might have heard me on Inspiration FM for about 10 years running. I've been doing Impact on Sundays where I help a lot of people. Anybody ever heard that? Good, from Inspiration FM days. So I co-founded a radio station recently also called Voice of the People in Lagos and in Abuja. And since then, we've still been impacting people. So if it was about a career path and earning money, I know where to go and earn money. But because life is more important than anything. And you see, we have a nation that have a complete disrespect for life. That's why we are where we are today. That's why because of votes, some people came to scatter you in Okota, beat people up. We saw it. We said it. They threatened us, but we keep telling them the truth. We are not going to stop telling them the truth. So it's people that don't respect life. They think they can hurt life for elections. They say they want your vote, but they kill you to get your vote. They don't respect you. They don't. And that's the country we've built. And this across the political class. And some of these people even claim they are Christians. So you see, being a Christian is not by mounting it. It's indeed where the works of your hands. You're a Christian, but you have to rig to win election. You're not a Christian. You're not a Christian. You want to rig to win election, and after you win the election, you went back and you say, oh, I thank God for this miracle. It has happened. That's why after the election, I just asked one question. I say, for those that have won, what did they win? And the question scattered the whole country. I said, go and ban that boy. He's a stupid boy. He said, he has started talking against a stupid boy. He's a stupid boy. But for those that have won, what did you win? When you beat and hurt people to be able to win, you think you have won? You have not won. For the fact you have cheated and they give you something, you think you have won? You have not won. In a matter of time, you will see that the true victory is when you win the hearts of the people. So when you win the fear of the people and you say people are afraid of you, you think you have won? I'm going to be talking about something called the genesis of distortion. And please, big kudos to Reverend Sam. He's a great man. Please. Appreciating. Appreciate Odudubariba himself. Oh, my brother, Mr. Malaki, God bless you. I remember, you see, Mr. Malaki is a great man. I remember the early days of Arise. It was the people we used to call to analyze issues. I remember them. You see, I've learned so much in life. Success does not freak me. When I got to Arise in 2019, nobody was watching Arise. We'll call some guests to book them. They will not come. People like Mr. Malaki will come. But guess what? The same people we used to call that they don't used to come. When Arise became popular, they started calling me. Me too, I didn't pick their call. Because you know why? The Bible says, do not despise the days of humble beginnings. We're building something that was going to resonate. But you know, life, people are always accustomed to what is big. I always love to be the underdog. You know why? Because I believe the biggest room in the world is the room for improvements. So I am not there yet. The greatest curse anybody can curse you, say you have arrived. I've not arrived though. I'm still bringing bird out of my pocket. I titled it, I said the genesis of distortion. The reason why Nigeria it is today is because there's a genesis to the distortion. It didn't start today. And I'll take you back to some key dates. I'll take you back to the year 1914. The year 1914 was the year they amalgamated the Northern and the Southern Protectorate. But before then, the British had first amalgamated the Southern Protectorate. Because you see, when they came, they met us fighting ourselves. Prior to that time, we have fought the Kiridi and the Jalomi wars. So in the South, for instance, when the British came, the only thing they had to do was just to unite the warring factions. Because the Jeshakiti Parakpo were fighting deep, the Oyo people and all of that. So we were fighting and we had made a lot of slaves. Most of the people that went from the Kiridi and Jalomi wars were those that went as slaves to Latin America. Those are the people that came back as what we call the Agudaos. These are the likes of the Darochas. So that's why you see that Lagos Island is filled with a lot of Brazilian architecture. They even celebrate Fanti Festival. In fact, we eat frijon in Christmas. Frijon is not native to us. It's Portuguese food. So those were the cultures they brought back. But how did we get those cultures? Because we were fighting. So they said the kingdom of God suffered violence. And all this violence can take place by force. We were already fighting from hitherto. Then the British came, settled the fight, then they colonized. The first inroad of the British in what is called Lagos colony today came in the middle 1800s. When two people too were fighting over the throne of Lagos, Kosoko and Akitoye. So they called in the British to come and settle fights. But you see, when you call a bigger man to come and settle fights of something that is very juicy, what do? They take it from you. So when Akitoye went aboard a ship called the HMS Prometheus on the Lagos Marina here, and he said, Miofeko Torrent, the British said, we don't know what you're talking about. Sign this edict that you will cede Lagos to us. So Lagos became a crown colony, and that's why in 1906, the first thing we did was the Southern Protectorate, the other fighting parts of the Yoruba parts, and Lagos colony. And that's why you see up till 1960, in fact, when we gained independence in 1960, residents full-born in Lagos had the chance to either choose a British passport or a Nigerian passport. But a lot of them opted for Nigerian passports. So after that amalgamation, they started to rule over us. So guess the things they started to do to us. The first thing they did was they distorted our mindset. That's the genesis of the distortion. So they told you that your black color was never good enough. How did they do it? Indoctrinations. At first, they told you you have to go through an education system. And after the education system, they said your language was not good enough, so they taught you in English. Have you ever wondered that if we are taught mathematics in Igbo, there will have been more people with a sound understanding of mathematics than in English? So the first thing you have to do, you have to learn your colonizer's language. And when you learn your colonizer's language, they took away your identity on how to think. So they call your customs and traditions idolatry. And the last thing they did was that they set up a fight between you, because they know if you are united, then there's going to be a problem. You remember the Tower of Babel? Even our God knew the importance of unity. So what did he do? He changed the language. So they set up a fight. And it's so easy. How would they do it? They have agents. Stir up ethnic strife. Yorubas will fight Hausa, Hausas will fight Igbos and all of that. And they fan the embers. And they constantly do it. So the first genesis of distortion was the initial colonialism. And they continued. In fact, they did it up till 1959, when we had the first elections, the 12th of December. You know what they deliberately did? That election, we know who won that election. Who had more votes. The NCNC had more votes. But originally, the British had planned that it was going to be a hung parliament. You know what they call a hung parliament? A hung parliament is when there's no clear winner in a parliamentary system. So you have to form a government of national unity. The British had known that it would be either the Yorubas and the Igbos, the Action Group, or the NCSC, and the MPC. The MPC was standard. So that was how they did it, and that was what happened. But they knew that was going to bring a very big problem. You had a boisterous Action Group in opposition. There was going to be problems. And they knew it was not going to last. And they knew that it was going to open more fault lines that led to the war in '66. So have you ever wondered that it was just after 6 years after the first elections? No, then we had another elections in '64-65 that spanned into '64-65. So pretty much 6 years after the first election and 2-3 years after the second election, then we had a civil war that further deepened the fault line. So the first agent of distortion, and I'm sure we all know that, it will take years for you to recover from such a strife like that. So they have set the tone for what became the war, and they are giving it to us at a beat, and we are taking it. So once we are taking it, once we have fought the first civil war and all of that, and when the civil war started, they were the ones that started selling their weapons. So afterwards, they had started the first genesis of distortion. They had caused hatred amongst us. The hatred means that we will never be able to come together. And please, that's why I say every wall of hatred you have for your brother, break it. Because if they can take our unity, they can take our strength. So once they caused that hatred, we couldn't come together again. And that's what we've been circling with. In the last election, our problem was not about tribe or religion, but they made it about tribe or religion in the end. Because they know the genesis of distortion. So that's the first genesis of distortion. And that's why you see that life in Nigeria has now become something like an Obasian state. It is British. We talk about Leah Sharibu. Leah Sharibu is a symptom of a deeper problem. We talk about Nigeria not work. It was not structured in a way that it was going to work. Because people wanted to take it for their own benefits. And that's why they don't like the truth. That's why they want to dominate every sphere. They want to shut people down in the media when you try to rat them out. So they deliberately put all of these things in place so that these systems and these hegemonies will not make you come together or work. You think all of a sudden Boko Haram just starting. It's also part of a grand system. Now that we've properly destroyed parts of this country with kidnapping, insecurity, and all of that, it's easy for non-state actors to roam wild. So there was a genesis to the national distortion. And they knew what they were doing. Pre-independence, post-independence. This game is so big that our politicians are just being played as a pawn in the game. But you know why it's easy to play our politicians? Because they see their greed. A nation can never grow if the leaders are greedy. A nation can never grow if the leaders are greedy. Once they see greed, they exploit the greed of the leaders. Have you ever noticed, why is it that most African, and they are taking advantage of the mindset of their leaders to destroy the nations? For what reason? For natural resource. Because they know we are blessed. You know, Nigeria has the capacity to be a $10-15 trillion economy. Even more than that. America is going to about on 20 trillion now. We have the capacity to be a superpower. But you know we have so much resource. So the next thing they do is they target the greed of our leaders and the selfish interest of our leaders. And they pull the buckle. So our leaders are so content with them having 5-10 billion in their bank accounts, rather than the collective development of the people. I mean, look at how bad the roads are in Lagos. For a Lagos that collects a lot of taxes. So it's not even about the politicians. It's about the systems that break all of us down, that create this national distortion. Even with our security system. That's why you see, it will now have different layers. They will put ethnicity in it. They'll put religion in it. But these things are deeper than ethnicity and religion. Because they need you to be confused about the dimensioning of these systems. They don't want you to think and know where it's coming from. So the truth is, you can't grow beyond the system that is fraudulent. That's why you see the way we are today with the Naira. All of a sudden, the Naira, that used to be 1-to-1 with the dollar. Look at where it is today. It's 1,004 something. When they were defending the Naira and we kept on telling them there are no fundamentals, they thought I was joking. They said, oh, that boy is a stupid boy. Has the Naira not started rising again? For a country that is so much blessed with milk and honey and its currency cannot be stable, you will know to a large extent that it's because the leaders are not thinking right and they've been sucked in. So maybe sometime soon we'll defend the Naira ever more and it will go back to square one again. But please do not think the Naira will go back to where it used to be before. I'm sorry. I'm in the church. I believe in hope and faith. But I'm a realist to the core. I not sabi deceive people. Oh. If you think it will be 1-to-1, be careful with what you think. Oh. Except we change the systems and the mindset that makes it difficult for us not to be able to produce as a country. Except to become a productive nation. Except we now start to tackle the genesis of this national distortion, we're not going to go anywhere. So, insecurity you are seeing is a symptom. Have you ever wondered why, growing up, the same army that used to be so powerful cannot get rid of bandits? So you think all of a sudden it just happened? It didn't just happen. You think the system just got destroyed like that? It didn't just start. It was systematically, and they kept on seeping into our consciousness and our mindsets. And that's why you see it's getting more difficult by the day. But you see, in all of this, for those that have facts and know the Lord, their feet shall be firm on the ground. But the thing is, it's not about just having facts and knowing the Lord. So what are you doing about it in your space? Are you part of the national greed? Because the world has enough to meet human need, not human greed. So we have a leadership that wants to meet their greed and meet our need. It can never be possible. That's why you see how much trillion, 26.7 trillion budgets. It's not going to go far. You know why? There's so much greed. A lot of people want to eat. Egunje. So those are the real agents of distortion. Except we understand that these systems are systems that were built inherently not to make Nigeria work, we will be fooling ourselves. And people like Leah Sharibu and other people that have been caught in the crossfire of Nigeria are just victims in all of this. They're just symptoms. The issues are deeper. In the last 10 years, have you seen real progress? It keeps decelerating. Have you ever wondered why? Because there are no fundamentals. All we have is little successes that people amplify, but it doesn't make it true. What 50 naira could buy 10 years ago, can it buy today again? We say we have gas, we are flaring gas, but we can't buy gas in our own country without having an exorbitant fee. We produce electricity, but it's not enough. Despite the fact that they don't give you power, they now come and say band A. And you're not even getting the band. The electricity agency is like bandits. Today, this morning, I had loss of power in the house. I recharged, how much? Was it 35, 40,000 naira? And I got, I think, how many units did I get? Maybe a little over 100 units. But have you ever wondered, why is it that at some point power was a lot better then than it is today? Some people will say, oh, it's because Nigerian population grew. No. It's because the system kept on getting corrupt and more greedy and more greedy and more greedy and more greedy to the point of distortion. And if care is not taken, it's going to be worse. I don't like to deceive people, though. Yes. If the church does not rise up and speak truth to power, if the actors do not rise up and speak truth to power, it's going to be worse. If they ever told you that we can have a country where they can kidnap somebody for close to 10 years, would you ever have believed it in Nigeria before? No. If they ever told you that you will have a country where food can be this expensive, would you ever believe it? If they ever told you that Nigeria now will be so at a point that Benin Republic, their currency is bigger than ours. If you saw the front page of the Telegraph newspaper yesterday, they said Nigerian neighboring countries now reject Naira up for CFA and dollar because CFA is 650 to the dollar. Naira is 1,004 something to the dollar. And if care is not taken, it's going to be worse because at some point we are getting to 1,900. This was the same CFA that as at the early 90s, 16,000 naira was 1 million CFA. So the ingredients of national distortion, and in all of this, the political class still wants to grab power. So the ingredients of national distortion is greed. But the funny thing is, what I'm most scared about is the greed of the people. Because you see, all of these unscrupulous politicians, they have agents. Some of them will have agents in this place, isn't it? But because, and I'm going to talk to you today, Because of what you want to benefit, you see the truth and you look away. You don't know you're doing yourself. Because if this country is good, it's going to be good for all of us. If this country is not good, it's not going to be good for all of us. Are you happy the way it is that as a city as big as Lagos, we don't have pipe-borne running water? When last can you open your tap and say this is government running water? And for you to still do borehole, they are going to charge you for doing borehole. But guess what? I had a friend that was telling me, I said, 1992, when he moved into his house on Molly Estate, there was pipe-borne running water that came into his house. And they said, connect to government water. So how did the situation become deplorable over the years? So these are the agents of national distortion. And that's why I say insecurity is just part of them. The same north that people used to love to drive to in the past. Very lovely roads that your car will even break down. You will sleep on the road. Are places that you can't go again because of greed and national strife. But let me tell you, they will look for all sorts of things to cloud it. They will call it, oh, it's because of tribalism and everything. That's why you, the people, need to be united. Yoruba, for an Igbo man, the Yoruba brother is not your problem. For a Yoruba man, an Igbo man is not your problem. For an Hausa man, and a Bibo man is not your problem. The thieving political class are your problems. Because of their own greed, and they don't want you to thrive and move further. And because it's always been a fight between the masses and the bourgeoisies. That was what the British too did during the colonial days. They will always build systems of exploitation from you. They will levy you, they will tax you. Number one system of it is taxes. Now they want to collect what tax from you? Cyber security taxes. Has your earning increased? So, and that's the mindset of a few continue to get richer, while a lot of people continue to get poorer. Real quickly, how do we break these agents of national distortion? Number one, unity. We must unite across every cultural bound, because our real problems are the perpetrators of evil, not your brother from another tribe. And that's why today I come here on behalf of Nigeria. Anybody that's been caught in any tribal debacle or war, please apologize, let's forgive. For this last election, please let's forgive. We can't continue to hold the hurt so much. It will stop us from progress. These are bad people who want the division to continue so that we will not be able to reason properly for ourselves. So it's a gimmick to set us against each other. You are not my brother. You are not my problem, my brother. You are not my problem, my sister. It is those who are manipulating us that are trying to cause chaos amongst us. So please, whoever is hurt, I beg, on behalf of the integrity and the hope we expect in this country, let's forgive. Secondly, we need to teach our children. You know, I'm always very happy when I see babies. You know, when I see babies, you know what it reminds me? God has not given up on the world. In fact, when I see babies, I say, at least rapture is not coming anytime soon. Because God is still throwing people here. So he has not quit on us. Then parenting, we need to teach our children. Parents, we are not teaching our children enough. Because of the vicissitudes of life, you want to earn, you want to do this. We are neglecting the family. The reason for this problem in Nigeria is that the family structure is dead. We now have a society where people bring things to the house. Parents don't check any longer. Parents don't ask questions. We have Yahoo Boys Mothers Association, and they're proud of it. We need to go back to the home. We need to go back to when parents talk to their children. How many parents still eat dinner with their children? Do you know what the dining table means? It means the bonding table. Please, stop allowing your children to go and eat in the room and eat in different places. All of you talk, see them. Even if you're not saying, look them in the eyes. Dine with them. There are so many things they will tell you over food that they will never tell you when you call them to the room. We are losing that generation. Another thing, we need to hold our politicians accountable. And that's why I say kudos to you, sir. Please, a big round of applause for Reverend. A big round of applause for Reverend. As a church is set up an advocacy group, most churches will not try it. Because they'll be waiting for the day one politician will come and donate drum. Or they'll be waiting for the day politician will come and they will endorse them on stage. Fourthly, we need to read. We don't read enough. Bob Marley says, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. We don't read enough. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved. Go back, set up a library, read, get facts, read the newspaper, know what is happening in your country, know how these things affect you. Then this is how we can truly start to build a country where accountability can be the order of the day. Nigeria is a beautiful country and it will never waste away in the name of Jesus. But let me tell you, apart from saying amen, you need to walk, because the forces that want it to waste away are so more than the forces here that are saying amen. Great lofty height will attain to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. O God of creation, direct our noble cause. Guide our leaders right. Help our youth the truth to know. May God help us to shine and open our eyes to what is true. God bless you.
I think you can do better for Rufai the Fire.
And opportunities.
It's his first time at the Lagos Teachers Conference, so can we give him a round of applause? Can we celebrate him? Can you welcome him? A round of applause as he gets here.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Ẹ̀yin tèmi báwo ni o? La. I mean, it's been very cold in the house. We're all talking intellectual stuff. Can somebody just stand up and warm up a little bit? Come on. Kuletoya. Come on, shake it once again. Ẹ̀yin tèmi báwo ni o? La. Ẹ̀yin tèmi báwo ni o? La. Shake your neighbor and say, it is well with you. So, please be seated. I'm supposed to have slides, but I want to speak to you from my heart. And I want to speak to you because this is pertinent. And this is important. So I'll be speaking about innovation in education. And you see, the most important problem about education is education. The most important problem about education is education. I'm sure a lot of people are saying Rufai wants to get controversial. Why do I say it's education? It's the education we have been given over the years and what we have been told education is. A lot of people that speak to us about education tell us what education is without knowing what education is. So they bring about indoctrination, dogma, subservience, and a particular code called education. So ask me, what is education? Education is to bring what you have in you outside. Education comes from a Greek word called edukos. Edukos means bring internal giftings, what? Outside. But what do? We take internal giftings of others over the years and do what? Impose it. That's why when Le Chatelier in 1889 propounded Le Chatelier's principles, in 2019 we still teach what? Le Chatelier's principle. That's why in 2019 we still talk about Avogadro's law. In fact, we have a song. Avogadro's law, lo sọ wípé equal volumes of all masses at the same temperature and pressure contains the same number of. So what do? We take it and do what? Newton's third law of motion says action and reaction are what? What do? We take it and put it on the students. We have never asked that, what is your own law? For thermodynamics, for physics, what is your own law? And that has been teaching. So I'm a student of history. I speak in universities all over the world about history, Cambridge University, African antecedents, and things like that. And when you see it, historically, education is skewed to be able to teach propaganda. And I'll give you an instance. Go way back to 3 BC. Something happened. The Spartans had the first system of education with the Greek. The Spartans, because they fought a lot of war with Athens and some other areas, what did? They taught all their male borns to be military officers. So that's why you hear things about Spartan courage. The Greek had a more egalitarian society, but they were mostly philosophically inclined. So what happened? They started teaching philosophical aspects of education. All right? That's why you had things like the sophist movements. That's why you have things like Pathos of Theon. That's why you have schools of thoughts of Socrates, Aristotle, Plato. Isn't it? So, because that's where they were going in society, they were teaching that because that was what was ambivalent in society. That was the expression in society. When you move a little bit further to, and that continued pretty much for another about a couple of thousands of years, until the 1500s, the 12th to the 1500s, when we had what we call the Renaissance period. The Renaissance period, you had innovative thinkers coming out of places like Scotland. You had the likes of David Hume telling us that, no, it shouldn't be this way. You had the likes of other wonderful thinkers bringing out great ideas. So education changed, and it was formed about what? The Renaissance period. And that continued for quite a while. They still included philosophy, algebra, Latin. Everything was skewed towards what they were seeing there. And that's why you see our early fathers that were educated in schools did Latin. Man, I'm sure you did Latin. Or maybe it was way before your time. Latin was done in school in Nigeria, isn't it? So that was the order of the day, and that was the kind of education. And education over the years has been skewed according to what the government and the governance wants. That's why in early 1900, entrepreneurship was taken out of the curriculum in schools in America. Any country that wants to develop patterns its education according to its developmental strides. But it doesn't make it right. I'm always a challenger of norm anywhere I go in the world. It doesn't make it right. What we have is education handed down from us. Education that says we must speak English. Who says I must speak English? Ta ló sọ pé mo gbọ́dọ̀ sọ Ìgbò? Ta ló sọ pé mo gbọ́dọ̀ sọ Ìgbò láti là láyé? Who says it's English I must speak to break through? So, because I don't speak big Oyibo, you they tell me say I not they civilized, Abi. But that's the kind of indoctrination they've given all of us. So I watched in the video intently when somebody was saying, and he said, you know what? I need to teach them how to speak English, like it's a curse not to be able to speak English. What if I grew up in China? I'm sure you know that long before English came into being, we had an Igbo language writing system that was there. Igbo Kwenu. We had an Igbo writing system. Long before they started writing English, Igbo words were written. There was Igbo numeracy. One of the oldest languages in the world. Do you know that the Chinese language has over 1,000 characters? So why are they telling you that if you can't interact in English, you have skewed education? You know why? Because the education we've been taught over the years doesn't bring innovation, and it's dogma. It tells you to remain in a certain place. It says if you don't speak good English, oh tabon. That's what it tells you. I'm not saying don't learn their language. Learn the language of the colonialists well, but don't be a colonial mindset. You need to emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can do what? Everybody, let's stand up and sing this together. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Say that again. Thank you. Please be seated. Just one stanza. Just one stanza. Because if we don't get this right, anything we say about education is a waste of time. I was in Cambridge. Your graduation ceremony is still conducted in Latin. Those were the norms in the 13th century. But that's still what is applicable today. Because you know what? There's something that is sort of like a yoke. You know, the Bible talks in the book of Proverbs about not being conformed. You know what? I like the definition of the book of Proverbs that talked about not being conformed. That said, don't be squeezed into a mold. A lot of us have been squeezed into a mold of tradition. That's why we cannot have cooperative learning with our pupils in class. If you expose your mind, you will know that being a teacher means you are the greater of the student. Check all over the world. We have the least patents out of Africa, isn't it? Thomas Edison, in his lifetime, had the most patents any man can have. Thomas Edison has over 1,940 patents to his name. Thomas Edison didn't go to school. What did he do? He discovered what was in him. I'm sure that was what Mark Twain, who knows Mark Twain here? Huckleberry Finn. Mark Twain said something very profound. Somebody stand up and say this. Jump up and say this. Mark Twain said, I will never allow my schooling affect my education. Because a lot of people, their schooling has affected the personal education. I think you should write that down. I think you should tweet that to somebody. A lot of us, the way we are schooled has affected the personal education in our lives. So we cannot innovate. We are looking for laws, isn't it? Recently, a Nigerian invented a generator that works with water. A very good engineer friend of mine went on Facebook and blacklisted him and said it defies the laws of physics. But what Albert Einstein said is E equal to MC square. You said is what? It's taken, isn't it? It's a law, isn't it? When doctors in the 18th century were misleading people by saying if you are sick, the only way you can get well is by bloodletting. So they will stab you and take some blood off your body, let blood come out. We said it was scientifically proven. But when we do it here, it is a problem. You see, why I'm not quoting stats about innovation is that the key to innovation is your mind. If your mind is not changed, you cannot innovate. If you don't have a renewed thinking, you can't talk to your pupils better. You don't know you can learn from them. And that's why when they say Finland doesn't do assignments, it's because they don't want you to go and copy on Wikipedia. Is that not what we do on assignments and projects? I lie? If I lie, say I lie. But is that not what we do? Other people's resource. You don't know how they got it. They put it on Wikipedia. You go to copy. When they say teachers don't have lesson notes in Finland, when they say teachers will do 5 years, you know the reason why they're saying teachers must do 5 years? Because, so what you mean, because we're trying to explain something about Finland. So the thing, I was in Finland. I was in Helsinki. The thing about Finland is this. Your first degree and your master's degree are tied together. It's a 5-year program for you to be a teacher. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you the catch. If you're a primary school teacher, you're a primary school teacher for life in Finland. Yes. You don't have a right to take another job. If you're a primary school teacher, you're a primary school teacher for life. Why? Okay. Okay. One house. I love reactions. Can I explain something to you? Because let me tell you something. That's the most important part of teaching. And the most skill needed is at that point, at that formative years. But here, that's where we put ramshackle graduates that had a third class. You can see why things are not working. You can see why we're not innovating. Because it is serious business. Look, countries that have scaled and that have developed intellectually and have done a lot of good things are countries that have invested in education. And it's, you see, it's very easy to rejig it. There's something called PISA. I don't know if you guys send students for that. There's a PISA rating system. It's a numeracy and reading written system all over the world. When you look at the PISA rating scores over the years, it shows you between the ages of 0 to 15, the numeracy capacity of every teacher, of every student around the world, tested across these countries. Mostly they are OECD countries, countries of, you know, thriving economic status quo. And what PISA does is, it looks at numeracy, and when you look at the countries on PISA ratings, America ranks number 20 what? I mean, 31 now. That's the America people send your school to. American education, isn't it? American education, isn't it? American education. I think Britain ranks number 21. So that's the British boarding school education where you speak Queen's English, isn't it? It ranks number what? Let me tell you countries that rank 1 to 4. Singapore, Taiwan, Macau, Finland. Hey, I'm sure someone will say, oh, what do you know? What do these countries do? These countries open room for innovation in their system. Let's start from Finland. A lot of people think the success Finland made was overnight. Everything started in 1991. They used to be part of the big Soviet Union. Everything started for Finland in 1991. The first thing they did was to be able to churn people into the workspace. So they had what we call polytechnics. Polytechnics like universities, where they had technical competence teaching. At first, because I told you earlier on, education is based on what the country needs at that point in time. Finland wanted to compete in Europe. It was a small emerging country. So they brought about a lot of technical learning. And they had that between 93 and 94. And they did that and perfected that so well that most of the patents that came out of Europe between 98 and 2003 to 2004 was from Finland. Nokia, Finland. It's named after a river, River Nokla. But you know the exciting thing is that other countries that are very intentional about their education system have started doing it. A little country called Estonia started doing it. Estonia is number 6 or 7 on the PISA rating. Estonia has invested tremendously in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths, because that's where they want their countries to go. And because of that, they're making so much money now. There's a little game we all play. It's called the Angry Birds. It's made by a small company in Estonia called Roxio. What Angry Birds make for the economy of Estonia, oil doesn't make it for Nigerian economy. Should I say that again? What Angry Bird makes for the economy of Estonia, oil doesn't make it for that Nigerian economy, at least in 1 quarter or 2 quarters. You think I'm lying? There's innovation in learning. Ask, Google now, Roxio. What's the worth of the company called Roxio? Google Roxio now, please. Somebody help me out. Google Roxio. I mean, it's participatory learning. We're learning, isn't it? I shouldn't be talking here every time now, isn't it? Huh? Is it not innovation in learning? Please Google Roxio, R-O-X-I-O. Tell me the worth of the company called Roxio, the ones that make agri-beds. Somebody Google it now, please. Google it. That's why I said, I'm sorry, I don't like to use slides. That's why I create very poor slides, because I like to interact with people. Google Roxio. Has somebody seen it? If you see it quickly, you will take my bottle of water. Have you seen it? What's the worth of Roxio as a company? 10 billion. Billion. $billion. $million. $10 million. Okay, Chris. Let's calculate what are crude oil entries for a month in Nigeria. Let's calculate it. What we make in crude oil in a month in Nigeria. Let's calculate it. Let's calculate it. What we made in crude oil in a month. When you say crude oil entries into Nigeria. And that's to show you the power of education and innovation. Let's calculate it. Or put in what Angry Birds made. Yeah, because that 10 million was suspect. 2.25 billion. That's the real what. It's not 10 million. Yeah, that's Angry Bird. Yeah, it's made by Roxio. So ask, is Nigeria making 2.25 billion from crude oil? $2.25 billion. And because when you said 10 million, I said that thing was suspect. Imagine me. Don't mislead me. I know Roger was more, Angry Bird was more than that. So Angry Bird is 2.25 billion, isn't it? Good. Angry Bird is what? Was 2.25 what? Please put your hands together for this man. 2.25 billion. What is Nigeria's budget? What is Nigeria's budget in a year? 9 trillion, right? 9 trillion, isn't it? Good. 2.25 billion times 360. It might not be up to it because Nigeria's budget is about $15 billion. But that's to show you what one company can do. 8.1 billion. 8.1 billion. That was our budget for last year. Isn't it? 8.1 billion because now it's about 9 billion. 2.25 billion times 360. No, 2.25 billion times 360. It has to go into trillions in Nigeria. 8.1 trillion in Nigerian money, right? So what one company, Angry Birds, made from education and from a developmental stride of education is what our national budget. And that's just one company out of where? Out of where? Out of Estonia. So then, what is innovation? Innovation is doing things better than you used to do them before, isn't it? That's just innovation. So, I'll give you this analogy. In 1896, sorry everybody, I'm an historian. In 1896, there was something called the Locomotive Car Act. What was the Locomotive Car Act? It said that no car can move more than 4 miles per hour. The fastest speed a car can move was what? 4 miles per hour. That's about 6 or 7 kilometers per hour. In 1905, it was reviewed, and a car could move 24 kilometers per hour. Recently, a man called Ettore Bugatti made a car called a Bugatti Chiron. Can somebody see the top speed of a Bugatti Chiron for me? Please, Google it up. A Bugatti Chiron. C-H-I-R-O-N. The top speed of a Bugatti Chiron. How many kilometers per hour? 420 kilometers per hour. And there's a place called the Autobahn in Germany. Can you see? 261 miles per hour. That's about 400 kilometers because miles is about times 2. So from 4 miles per hour to 261 what? That's innovation. Isn't it? So how can we get Nigeria's education system now from 4 miles per hour to what? To 261 miles per hour. Any suggestions? Let's talk about it. It's education. At first, we've decongested our mind, isn't it? So let's talk. So how can we, the task for us, when I talk about innovation, because you see, Albert Einstein said, if you can explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it. So I'm sure everybody understands in the house where we are going, what the task is. Because one other thing education teaches us is to use big verbose language to be able to dissuade people from the original vision. That's why tons of people have to cram what they studied in school. They didn't really know it. Isn't it? So how can we get Nigeria's educational system? Because, and this is the real analogy, Nigeria's educational system is what British educational system used to be like in the 1910s and 1920s. as we speak today. Pretty much the same curriculum. You can add the 50s and 60s, pretty much the same curriculum. So how can we get us from 4 miles per hour to 261 miles per hour? The first thing is technology. Technology. I predict here that in the next 5 years, the most international borderless language will be coding. So if you cannot code, you will be the illiterate of the 21st century. You see, somebody once said the illiterate of the 21st century is those that can't read, learn, and unlearn, isn't it? Good. But the illiterate of the 21st century is if you cannot code and express your thoughts in binary and code language. That's why I started an education hub called EduPay a couple of years back, and we keep deploying coding teachings for schools. So the first part to innovation is understanding technological appreciation. You know, because what has happened? The world has leapfrogged. You know, there were ages. There was an industrial age, there was an atomic age. So Nigeria didn't pass through the industrial age. That's why when you see from 1979 to about 1980, we had the first industrial plan, isn't it? To industrialize Nigeria. And that's why around that time, that's when they built Ajaokuta and the likes that never worked, isn't it? So Nigeria didn't really go through the industrial age. And you cannot go back to the industrial age now because a lot of people have moved past the industrial age. That's why people are shipping things to China. That's why you see Trump's agenda is deprogressive. From the World Bank, started this thing called the World Bank in the 70s. So he will take all these rich billionaires and they will go talk in a place called Davos. And they started, pretty much talking about what the world will be. Him, another group called the Bidenberg Group, they talk about how the world will be. And all of them have come to say that this is what will change the world. IoT, Internet of Things, and the 4th Industrial Revolution. So, if you don't have appreciation of that, you cannot innovate. And that's why it looks as though you are struggling. If in 2019, we're still doing what is MS-DOS, what is DBase4, what is, when you go to Nigerian universities, they still teach a programming language called Fortran. And I'll tell you a little bit about Fortran. Fortran was a programming language that Catherine Jennings used to write mathematical code for a man to go to space in 1961. We're still teaching Fortran. Google, if you think I'm lying, please Google it up. Fortran. When was Fortran first written? Please Google it up. Can they put it on the screen? When was Fortran first written? Between 1961 to 65 or 67. I'm going to be accurate with the date, but... Sorry, am I boring you with this engagement? If you're bored, just tell me, I will go, please. Can somebody put it up there? When was Fortran? 50? So I was even wrong, it was 57. 19 what? 50 what? Say it again. 57. In 2019, who studies computer science here? What year did you finish school, ma? Eh? 2009. Did you do Fortran? You did it? You did Fortran. Please come on the stage. Come on the stage. Come on the stage. Please, a big round of applause. A big round of applause. Please tell them you did Fortran.
I did Fortran, basic and assembly language.
So what year is that?
I graduated 2009.
Okay, yeah. And what was the year Fortran was released there? Good. So if we do not have the technology of today, we cannot innovate for the future. I think it was Winston Churchill that said very profoundly that the empires of the future are the empires of the mind. So if we do not have a national education policy that does that, I went to Mr. Shitu's office. I was trying to push a deal with the federal government. I went to Mr. Shitu's office when he was Minister of Communications. What I saw, I will not tell you. I can't tell you. And that's why I was really excited when Dr. Isa Patami was made, Minister of Communication. He gets it. I'd done some work with him at NIDDA. Great guy, great mind. All right? And where the countries all over the world are talking about things like cloud residency, Nigeria still think it's a joke. So we cannot innovate if we don't have what? If we don't have what? Technology. It's not possible. Another very most important part of innovation of education today is what I call social skills. I think it was Harvard that did a review. The top 10 skills that make people successful in life. Cramming was not number one. It was social, spatial, street skills that were top. You see, that's the reason why first-class graduates hardly get jobs in Nigeria. And they think it's the village people. It's not. It's because we have not taught the social skills. And the way to innovate education, we need to start inculcating social skills in our children from where? When they are small. Why do people send their kids to Cambridge? Why? I've spoken at Cambridge. I'm pushing to speak in Eton. Who knows Eton College here? Eton College is said to be the best. It's not in terms of education, but the most egalitarian secondary school in the world. It is said that if you go to Eton College, you have a high chance of becoming a British Prime Minister. So go check all British Prime Minister. David Cameron went to Eton College and he went to Oxford. It's so funny that most British Prime Ministers, they go to Eton College, they go to Oxford, and they study one course, PPE, politics, philosophy, and what? And economics. Go check, research. You can Google David Cameron now. Why do they send their children to Eton and Oxford? Why? Not because they want them to go do anything extra, but because they want them to social line with the creme de la creme of society for social viability. That's one thing we don't teach here. An average Nigerian doesn't know how to socialize. Network for prosperity. It's a very important skill. My very good friend Bosun Tijani of CC Hall was telling me we met up in a Tech Point. I mean, if you had seen me at Tech Point, I do a lot of things with Tech Point. And we met up and we were talking and said he's going to school to study how relationship and social special relationships are built. Because when my very dear friend Teach for Nigeria was talking about engaging with government, the crux of the matter is social skills. How to speak their language, to understand them, and to be able to now put your ideas through to them. Because if you don't understand them, nothing will be done. But the problem with all of us is we live in something I term the Lagos bubble. We say in Ikoyi, VI, a child goes to Corona, good life, isn't it? You can afford driver, work in a multinational, earn about 12, 15 million naira every year, good life. Go to summer twice a year. But we forget that there's a child in Zungeru. Matter of fact, Ojukwu was born in Zungeru. Zungeru used to be even better than Lagos. So let's not talk down Zungeru. But it sounds funny though, you can laugh. We forget that there's a child in Zungeru that is looking for equal opportunity. So when we go to our schools to have these innovation programs, apart from teaching them English, let us teach them social skills. Because really, when they come out there, when they start to lobby and bid for contracts, it's these social skills. I'm not saying teach them how to give sole or egunje or bribes, but it's these social skills of networking, of holding somebody. Can somebody come on stage with me? Please, sir, you come. Please come on stage, thanks. Of even learning how to shake. How are you, sir? Maintain strong eye contact. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Things like that are going to open more doors for you, more than the English you speak. Because how you can use humor, There's a French comedian, Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo. You know Victor Hugo? Many French books, isn't it? Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo said something profound. He said, humor is the shortest distance between two people. That's why you see comedians are the greatest networker. Once you can make somebody laugh a little bit, they'll light up. So those social skills are imperative. Also, when you teach them, what will be innovation is making them know their country. A lot of Nigerians don't know their country. That's why we're having the crisis we have. We don't know our country. We don't travel. We don't travel. Even a lot of Nigerians don't even know Africa. You want to know the world. How many of you have been to Botswana? Gaborone. You have been to London? Oh, UK holiday summer. You go and buy the same old shoe that they put in Selfridges since 1921 and you say, UK Harrods. And you sing, London is the town for me. London is not for you. It's for Mama Charlie. Know your environment. Know your environment. Know your country. I met Strife Masiyiwa once. We're having a mentorship session with Strife Masiyiwa. Strife Masiyiwa was telling us how Thomas Nkono used to be a liberator and a freedom fighter in Zimbabwe. Was telling them how when they were young, he would say, he would say, Strife, travel. You people don't travel around Africa. Because the true education is to know the environment. The problem is also we know so much about Donald Trump, we don't know the government of Dankwali local government area. How can we make change? The problem is we know how a business ecosystem works so much in India, but we've not been able to crack the business ecosystem of Ajegunle. And we want the youth, the children to thrive. It affected me. When we set up loyal bonus, we used the Indian model, we failed. We lost money. Oh, we saw the big population. We forget that the population didn't have disposable income. We forget that 98% of Nigerians don't have up to 500,000 naira in their bank accounts. If you have. So we forget that a lot. I forgot that. What I was saying was, oh, there are 5 million people in Nigeria. If 1,000 people every day buy stuff from my website in Nigeria, we forget why Jumia is struggling. Education, innovation means people should know their environment. We don't teach a lot of that. When we go for excursion, what do? We take them to Silver Bed Cinema, they go and watch American movie. We don't take them to the slums to be able to understand the perspective of other children in the slums and what their society is all about. Most importantly, to have innovation in education. Teachers, this is for you now. As the song says, Yami Baba Wobi Mi Da. As a teacher, you must constantly Tunraebi. Because I know if I say the word rebirth, it can't resonate like Tunraebi. You must constantly be open to training. You must constantly be open to renewal of your mind. You must see that pupil you teach as a partner. So when that small boy, Kasali said, don't tell him Benwe song. See him as a partner and encourage him. Because teaching is a symbiotic process. It's like the proverbial Yoruba word, so that's what teaching is all about. It has to be beneficial for both. Innovation will be having a look at our curriculum, having a national conversation. At this day and age, is it 6334 we need? Should we still have Nigerians stay 4 years in university with a high unemployment rate, or have a crash course 2 years in university and they can go into the labor market? Are there many things they're teaching us in our curriculum now that is useless? Are you angry? Are you angry? Say, I am angry. So wait a minute, 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 please. Wait a minute, please. You're angry, isn't it? But wait, just wait. Can you hear me out? Can you hear me out? Can you hear me out? Sister, I can see you. Can you hear me out? Good. A woman called Ivana Trump changed my life forever. She was Donald Trump's first wife. She helped Donald Trump build his business empire. And he divorced her. And she said something. She said, don't get angry, get everything. Thank you, sir. She said, don't get angry, get everything. So when I hear that word, when I feel very unfairly cheated, I look for how to get everything. Because you see, anger doesn't predispose rationality. So you see, we might get angry all you want, but once you drink cold Gary and sugar, it's all finished. The anger is not put to use. Cold Gary and sugar. From that, the anger will turn to Nigeria will change. Big round of applause for you. So the best you can do now is write a petition. We've got over 2,000 people here, right? If everybody here can write a petition to their lawmaker on the fact that education curriculum needs to change, we can get a critical mass. So that's how to change things. Me, I've learned not to get angry. So a lot of people say, Rufai, you don't talk, you don't do. I say, me? I know what I'm doing. So I mobilize. I have single-handedly sponsored 3 bills. One has gotten passed in Lagos. I know how to write bill. I'll just call my legal friend. Let's write this bill. So what we'll do here is, sir, we talked about this. Let's get rapporteurs around and write what we call the education curriculum bill and start to push it. That, for me, that's impact, though. Can get angry. I'm angry. I'm angry. You see, Martin Luther King talked about the fierce urgency of now. I talk about the salience of anger. Put it to use. It is the same salience of anger Rwanda used. I was in Kigali speaking a couple of years back. I was speaking to a high government minister in Kigali. And I was asking them, how did they get 94% health insurance coverage? And he told me, he said, funny enough, we're speaking at I was staying at the Hotel de Mille de Collines. That's Hotel Rwanda, where Roussel Sabagina had his ordeal in 2017. And he said, we said to ourselves that no Rwandese will ever die of a preventable disease. That was the anger. And they worked towards it. Part of my anger and my friend's anger was what led to something I call 1 Million Teachers. You can go on it, go on the website, a part of 1 Million Teachers, 1millionteachers.com. My friend Hakim Subar in Canada We partner with the Queen's University in Canada, set up a teacher learning hub. It's free. I think it's about $6 or $5. You can go there, download teacher curriculum and learn. You can get the website down, 1 million teachers. It will benefit you a lot. And it was part of the hangar we started moving. Recently, we signed a contract for 10 years to teach 40,000 teachers in Rwanda. Let me tell you something. Agbe proposal was in Nigeria. They were looking at us. So what did we do? We took it to Rwanda. We have deployed. We've signed the agreement. You see, we met the Minister of Education in Rwanda. That's the only country I see that you can meet a minister in 2 days. No long fertility. And we've kicked off. But it's also a platform open for you as a teacher. Can somebody go to the website? Can we go to the website, please? 1 million teachers. It's part of innovation. What are we doing there? Can somebody go to the website on the slide? It's a teaching portal. You go out there, you register, you complete the course model, and you start to learn. That's it. That's it. That was part of our anger. Because we're angry, and me and Hakim were in the hotel room one day and we're talking, and a couple of other guys. It's okay, we're angry about this teacher thing. Nobody's looking out for teacher. Okay, let's set up something. That's the website. You can see. You can put it down a little bit. Put it down. Reward-based system, transforming teachers, the incentives. We even have incentives for the teachers. Recently, we took this to Kanu. The only person that looked at us in the north is the Emir of Kanu. We signed him up recently as the chairman of our advisory board. So what the Emir of Kanu is on, you can see it has some validity. You can see Hakim over there and other people in the team. You can check it out. If it's what is going to work for you, it can be part of your innovation journey, isn't it? At least you can see what my anger has done. Isn't it? At least let your anger lead you to go to the website and try to take action. Because all this angry. You've for nothing. So anger means taking action. Do something. Be innovative. Be innovative. Do something. Also, your anger means engagement. Engagement with the parents. Engagement with the people. I'll wrap up with this quote. It shaped my life. I think it was Napoleon Bonaparte. I tried to say it in French. My French is terrible. But I translate it in English. It says, la carrière c'est tu c'est calon. What it means is, without distinction of birth or fortune, we should get to a place where there should be no distinction of birth or fortune in the educational advancement of Nigeria. The child of a pauper should be able to get the distinction and the education the child of a rich man should get. It is only when we do that justice will be pushed back to the educational system. If it's possible, somebody give me a big yes. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Can we keep the applause going? A round of applause for our speaker. Thank you very much, sir. That was such a practical and pragmatic session. Very explosive. Explosive. Thank you very much, sir. A quick recap.